Okay, it's no secret based off the content I've lately been recording that I've really gotten into superhero stuff lately. And in this video, I'm going to briefly explain the timeline of why that's happened, and then go over all the superhero related stuff I've picked up, as far as collectibles, books, etc., and just talk about a little bit of the movies I've watched. But yeah, let's just get right into it. Okay, so the thing that obviously first got me into the superhero stuff was the movie that I first watched. So yeah, um, this channel is called JP Plays and Then Collects because the plan of this channel was to be to game, then collect stuff based off those games. But this is kind of one of those reverse scenarios, actually, where I watched a movie, then, well, as you all will see in this video, collected stuff, then gamed. But technically, I guess I played it on the channel or recorded it and put it on the channel before you all saw any of it. But I watched the movie, bought some of the stuff, and then played the game. But yeah, so the first thing I did, obviously, on July 27th was watch Superman. Me and my dad went and watched it, and I will just be honest, I absolutely love the movie. Um, yeah, it's probably, and I know, you know, my opinion, let me just say, this could change because I might be just too caught up in the moment, but I love the movie. Um, so much fun with it. I mean, there was some scenes that I guess were whatever, but I'll be honest. I don't even feel like there were many scenes like that. I think just I've seen reviews and people have been like, it's good, but it's not it. I don't care. I genuinely enjoyed the movie so much. It's probably one of my favorite movies, especially in this current moment. And I will say, earlier before I watched Superman, I watched the Jurassic World Rebirth. And normally I'm way more of a dinosaur person. Literally, I have another channel that has almost 400 subscribers that I've done way more content on. And I'm way more of a dinosaur person than a superhero person as far as movies. But yeah, wow, this movie absolutely killed Jurassic World Rebirth as far as which one I enjoyed more. This movie was so awesome. In fact, I have a video coming soon that I'm going to talk about all the just more about the superhero stuff, just my thoughts on the movies, both of them. And yeah, Superman was amazing to me. If I don't know at the time when I'm recording this if it's still in theaters. I think this might be either the one. I think this was the day I'm recording this might be like the first day that you're able to watch it online. Whatever. It was so enjoyable for me. One of my favorite movies maybe ever. I just enjoyed it so much. Definitely probably one of my favorite superhero movies. But yeah, so I guess we'll save some of the Superman talk for the video where I actually um, what was I going to say? The video where I actually am just going to talk about the movie and stuff. But yeah, had so much fun with the Superman movie. It was awesome. Would definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it already. Yeah, I just had so much fun with the movie. And yeah, I'll talk more about all that in that video. But let's move on to the first collectible thing that I picked up. Okay, so the day after I watched the movie, we went to a mall that's about an hour away from where I live. And in that mall, I went and looked in a bunch of stores looking for this specific pop. Well, there's a Target close to the mall, and we went to the Target first. I didn't find this pop. This is a common, so this is not like an exclusive where it could have been literally any store. I went to Hot Topic. I went into um, FYE, a few other stores. But I did finally find it, and actually at the store I wasn't expecting to find it. Actually, the only reason we went in the store is somebody I was with had to use the bathroom, so we went in there, and I was like, oh yeah, they've got that Toys R Us section in Macy's, and in the Toys R Us section, they only had a few Pops, I think, in the whole area. Oh yeah, and this is a Funko Pop. I know not everybody's crazy about Funko Pops, but I personally do like them. I collected a ton of these as far as anime when I was way more into anime, but so I do have a lot of I know a lot about how Funko works as far as convention exclusives, etc. But yeah, so the pop, as you can probably guess, was Superman. I love this pop. Him in the air, it just looks awesome. I think this is such a cool pop. I love the box art. But yeah, those stores I mentioned earlier, a lot of them actually had other characters. I remember the Target. I think we went in Target first. They, I think, only had Lex that day. As far as Superman, they had other superhero stuff. Um, and then FYE, I remember they had Lex Luthor and Lois Lane because I remember seeing them both and was like, LL, that's kind of interesting. And then Hot Topic, I remember had, I think, Lex and um, whatever, it's like the Hammer of Bravia, like the whatever version of Superman, the evil. Really cool to see all of them though, but Superman was the main one I wanted. So yeah, got him. Um, was really thrilled to get this one because, like I said, I wanted this pop so bad and it was so cool. Yeah. just so cool. And like I said, Superman, I've just become such a big fan. And it's got me more into superhero stuff in general as of lately. But yeah, Superman was the main one. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I was excited to watch the movie, but like I didn't plan on enjoying it nearly as much as I did. Like I said, it was genuinely a movie I enjoyed so much, and I can't undersell that part. Especially being somebody that has enjoyed superhero movies in the past, not not would consider themselves like a real superhero fan, if that makes sense. But yeah, I paid $12.99 for this, which was actually I think a good deal at Macy's, because I know Pops have actually I think increased a little, and now we're like $15 for even the commons. That's one thing I will say. It is kind of cool in my personal opinion, as being somebody who's knows how the Funko game works, as far as knowing how exclusives, convention stuff, knows how all that stuff works, and how which Pops generally are easy to find and which ones you can kind of expect to go on sale and stuff. Just because I was into Pops for a while, but kind of got out of it as I still like anime, but I just don't watch it nearly as much as I used to. But I knew how Funko operated with that kind of stuff because I was big into the anime Pops. But so now it's fun to be back into Pops, but just with a whole new interest of stuff. But yeah, so like I said, the first Pop that we're showing off is Superman. And I know there's a lot of other cool collectibles for Marvel, DC, etc. But one thing, the reason why I think most of the collectibles I will get is probably just going to be Funko is because, one, I do genuinely like them. I know they're not for everybody, and there probably are cooler collectibles, but I also just like how there's both Marvel and DC Pops. It's not like there's a set of just Marvel stuff, but then you have to find something kind of similar but not the same with DC. So I like how there's that. And then like I said, I'm familiar with Funko, so it kind of just is nice to be oh, I know how this works and this works. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I was really happy to find this Pop. And like I said, I just genuinely think this is such a cool looking Pop, especially for a common. But yeah, now we'll move on to the next thing I picked up. Okay, and shortly after I picked up the Superman Pop, I actually looked at the times on the receipts, and it literally said it was within 5 minutes. I went back in that Hot Topic that I mentioned. I looked for the Superman Pops, but couldn't find any, and went in and bought this, the Spider-Man Bitty Pop set. And yeah, this one's cool. Bitty Pops were something I thought were really cool when they got announced. I remember, because like I said, I've been interested in Funko, but they didn't make any anime Bitty Pops for the longest time. I think they've just now started doing Dragon Ball and Pokemon. And Pokemon, it's kind of its own thing. And I love Pokemon, but as somebody who grew up with the games and cards and everything, I don't know. I don't know if I would even really consider as much of an anime collectible thing, but especially since it's not like Ash, it's just the Pokemon. But whatever. But yeah, I thought Bitty Pops were super cool, but just they didn't make any of the franchises I was really collecting since they weren't doing anime at the time. But yeah, saw this. And I will say this was one thing I didn't really understand, how this worked. So what happened was when I was in Hot Topic earlier, like I said, when I was looking for the Superman Pops, I saw this behind the register. Because I actually did pick up another Pop while I was in there, but it's just not anything superhero related, so I'm just not showing it off. It's actually an anime Pop, so that's why I'm not mentioning it in this video. But yeah, I went in there and saw this behind the shelf, and I didn't understand how this worked because I saw the Chase sticker, and if you know anything about Funko, Chase stickers are usually a good thing. But yeah, I went in there and saw this behind the counter, and I was like, oh crap, because I didn't understand how the Bitty Pop Chase sets for the Spider-Man set worked at first. But it turns out literally so these sets of 3 in the front are guaranteed you get those 3, and then it's just kind of random which one of these you would get. So yeah, whenever I saw this one on the shelf, I was like, oh, that's cool. It's got the 3 Venom ones and then Peter Parker. And I was like, because obviously Venom's just cool. I grew up, I don't know if I would say Spider-Man was my favorite, but I definitely remember a lot of Spider-Man stuff, like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, a little bit of the cartoons, animated stuff. And I have a funny personal thing with a Spider-Man DVD that we might talk about at some point on this channel, depending on how much superhero stuff we want to talk about on the channel. But yeah, when I saw this, I was like, oh, that's really cool. But now that I know how it works, I probably wouldn't have bought this one, honestly, because this was the only one in the store. I didn't know how the Chase thing worked, because I didn't know if, the 1 in 3 ones or whatever weren't considered the Chase ones. So I was like, oh, the Chase sticker one, that means this one must be the harder one to get. So I kind of bought it just because the Chase sticker, honestly. Because honestly, if I would have known how it worked, I would have tried to get all 4 of the Venom ones, like the Symbiote Spider-Man, etc. And I don't know how I would have done the other ones, but I probably would have tried to get the symbiote Spider-Man set. And maybe if I end up buying all of them, maybe I'll just swap some or take them out of the box. Um, because yeah, I don't know which ones you would want probably the most out of these orders, but I would probably want that set of 4 together. But um, where was I even going with this? Oh yeah, but so I bought this, like I said, really cool. And if I only could get one, this might would have been the 4 I wanted though, just because Peter Parker Spider Man's cool, and then all the Venom ones are cool. Venom, Anti Venom, and She Venom. Um, I will be honest, I think Spider Man is so interesting, and I do know a little bit about it, but I don't know as much like as I would like to. Honestly, is how I would phrase it. But yeah, really cool, and was happy to pick this up. But like I said, if I would have known exactly how the chases of these worked, I might wouldn't have got it. And after I bought this, like I said, when I bought this in Hot Topic, it was the only one there. But since I bought it, I've seen a ton of these now. I went in a bookstore where I did pick up something that you all will see shortly. They had almost all these, and I could have had the whole set at just there, but I was like, do I really want to spend 45-ish dollars to get all these? Um, and then I've seen them since then at Box Lunch, a bunch of other stores. Actually, I picked another one up, which you all will see later in this video as well. But yeah. Oh, and speaking of that Superman pop, like I said, Macy's was the first place I saw that pop, and that was the only place I saw it that day. But since then, I've seen that pop at Walmart. I've seen it at maybe a GameStop or two. I know I saw it at that same Target I talked about earlier, like the next time we went. But yeah, yeah. But it's been really cool, like I said, to get back into the pop game, being somebody who like knew like all the cool stuff about it, but just didn't really get into the Marvel DC superhero stuff yet. But yeah, now let's move on to the next thing. And like I said, this was also picked up on the 28th, so the same day as the Superman Funko Pop, shortly after, and the day after I watched the Superman movie. So yeah, that Superman movie clearly pushed me right back, well, not back into, pushed me into the superhero stuff, because kind of pushed me back into wanting Funko Pops, but it pushed me back into, or pushed me into the superhero stuff, which I am honestly really excited to be into right now. Okay, the next day, well, I guess technically 2 days after, but the 30th of July, we went to another little out of town place that's, I'd say about 40-ish minutes from my house, but here there was a store called Bookland, which is really just Books A Million. I'll be honest, it looks the exact same as Books A Million inside. The receipt the bag that they gave me the book in literally said Books A Million, but the receipt said Bookland. But yeah, it's pretty much Books A Million. It was the display, everything was just like Books A Million. They literally had like Books A Million exclusive stuff, and it literally pretty much everything's Books A Million except the front of the store said Bookland. But whatever, and Books A Million's website literally had it listed like at the store location. So yeah, pretty much the exact same thing, but for some reason called Bookland. If anybody knows why the deal is with that, that would be kind of interesting to learn. In fact, I might look into that myself after recording this. But yeah, so I went in there for a book that I was looked at online. So after watching Superman, you know, I got more interested in Superman stuff and wanted to see some books. And then I found out that there was a prequel novel to the Superman movie. And then whenever I saw it online and saw the picture for it, I was like, oh, that's cool, I'll get that. I didn't really realize exactly what I was getting into whenever I saw it, though, because like I just saw the cover for this, didn't really notice the part where it said junior novel. And you might be wondering what the deal is with it being a junior novel. Well, it's not the thickest book, as you all can tell. I mean, it's not as thick as my thumb, and not the heaviest wording book either. Honestly, not going to complain about that, though, because yeah, I need to be reading more. But yeah, got this because obviously got big into Superman and just wanted some more superhero related stuff, and didn't really, and I'll be honest, I was very interested in buying some comic books or something, but I just didn't know where to go first with the comic book. So I was like, I'll just get something related to the movie. And whenever I saw that there was a prequel novel thing that went with the movie, I wanted to get it. Just didn't realize it was a junior one. But like I said, probably a good thing for me, because I need to get into reading, because me and my sister are both on this book thing, Goodreads. And one of my cousins, they kind of got me onto Goodreads, and I've been wanting to kind of get into books. Like, I've bought a bunch of books, but just don't read, if that's weird. I buy books almost more as collectibles than I do for the actual purpose. But yeah, so this was probably a good thing, because maybe I'll actually read it since it's not as intimidating. But yeah, cool book. Excited to get into it. But yeah, so the day at, well, actually not the day after, later after getting that Superman book, we went and watched Fantastic Four, which I'll be honest, I really did enjoy. Yeah, so I think I picked this up around 3 something, and then yeah, later in the day we all went and watched Fantastic Four. Superman, it was just me and my dad that went and watched, and Fantastic Four, it was me, my sister, and some of my other cousins, and yeah, really enjoyed it. I will say I definitely preferred Superman, but both were excellent. This was probably one of my this was one of the actually the last Marvel movie that I watched in theaters prior to this was um Doctor Strange. Oh my gosh, what's that movie called? Doctor Strange. Is it Multiverse of Madness? I actually watched that at school in high school, and currently I'm going into my junior year of college, and I can't even remember what year of high school that was for me. But yeah, that was the last Marvel movie I'd watched in theaters because, like I said earlier in this video, I'm not a superhero. I was not. Let me not. I'm not. I was not a superhero fan. I watched the movies and enjoyed them, but I'm like I collect a lot of stuff, and I just didn't even bother really collecting superhero stuff. Literally, I own a few superhero pops, and the two I own, as far as I can remember, and we'll show these off probably in a future video. One was literally the Funko shop had a sale that if you spent so much money, you got a free thing. And I think I got some DC pop. I think it was Blue Beetle. And then the only other one I got, it was like, I went in Five Below, and this was when Five Below was selling Funko Pops, like actual Funko Pops in the store. I think now they only sell like the minis, but at the time they were selling actual Pops, and they used to get chases a lot that you could get on sale because they would sell them for $5. It was a crazy deal at the time, but I think I got a Doctor Strange Pop for $5. Um, where was I going with that even? Um, honestly, I don't even know where I was going with that part. Okay, well, I just after clicking, I remembered why I ended my point. I was talking about why I was talking about Doctor Strange and the $5 pop at Five Below was just explaining that oh my gosh, did I forget? It was because I wasn't as big into superhero stuff, but literally the only stuff I got was just because of almost other stuff. But yeah, I think the only superhero related pops I had prior to like actually like this like wave of getting into superhero stuff lately was a chase I got at Five Below, and then the free pop I believe I got literally from the Funko shop. But yeah, now we'll move on to the next thing I picked up. Okay, and also in this video, we're going to talk about 3 things that I ordered but don't currently have in hand. So these will be shown off in future videos on the channel. But yeah, the first thing I ordered in a store, well, 2 I ordered actually online, but 1 I did pre-order in store, if you know, with GameStop. But yeah, GameStop, for most of their pre-order stuff, I know there's exceptions. You can put $5 down, and that's what I did. They released this new Spider-Man symbiote Funko Pop, which I just thought was one of the coolest looking pops I've seen in a while. And yeah, I ordered it. I put $5 down on it in the store, and then went. I'll pick it up whenever it eventually does release. It says release date of 8/28. So, oh, that's later this month, isn't it? I think I could definitely be off, but yeah, the Spider-Man symbiote suit. Yeah, I think, yeah, what, this is August. I'm going to sound like an idiot if I'm wrong. Yeah, this is August 1st, I think. If I'm wrong, somebody call me out for being an idiot. But yeah, this got announced, I think it was like Spider-Man Day or something, because I remember somebody else was doing some cool Spider-Man collabs, and this got announced. But yeah, pre-ordered this, and like I said, just such a cool pop. I mean, Venom and Spider-Man, obviously 2 of the cooler superhero related stuff. And I will say, as I've been like collecting the pops and stuff, and just collecting stuff in general after getting back into superheroes, I've realized I'm definitely a Spider-Man fan. Which, I mean, I knew, but like literally when I go and buy these pops and stuff and go in the stores and look at them and order them, I notice I'm just instantly drawn to the Spider-Man stuff. Like the Superman stuff I was wanting because I watched the movie, and I haven't watched the Spider-Man movie in I don't even know how long, and I'm like instantly drawn to that stuff. Like I know growing up he was probably my favorite one when I was little, and then there was other stuff too. But I like, as far as recently, I've not watched, this is going to sound crazy, especially like based off the stuff I've mentioned. I've not watched any of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. I've watched some of the Marvel movies that he's like in, but I've not watched any of the standalone Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. And I still haven't watched Into the Spider-Verse or any of the animated ones, and I really want to watch all those. So yeah, definitely going to have to get into that. But yeah, pick this pop up or put in the $5 for it, and really excited. I thought this was an awesome looking pop. And now we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, and like I said, so I picked up the Spider-Man pop in store August the 1st, and then from the, I didn't really pick anything up, I don't think, for a couple days, and then August, I think the 4th is when I started my Fortnite series that you all saw on YouTube. So I started that on the 4th and played pretty much to the night of the 6th, and I think I played up for like an hour or two on the 7th, whatever, because there was a few days before, or a few hours before that downtime. But yeah, that's when we did the Superman Fortnite stuff that you all saw. And like I said, so yeah, this was kind of interesting, where normally this channel was supposed to be, we play video games, then I collect stuff based on the video games, but this was kind of reverse, where we watched a movie, collected stuff, because like I said, I picked stuff up the 29th, I think, the first, a couple of days before that, and then just then started playing the Fortnite then. But yeah, I was kind of torn on what to do. I thought about buying some games. I know there's games like Marvel Rivals, and there's stuff like Injustice. There's the Spider-Man PS4 games I know, and I haven't played any of that stuff. Marvel Rivals I would like to play, but I think the only way I can play is on my laptop, and I don't know how well my laptop could run a game like that, to be honest. So yeah, if you all have any suggestions as far as what superhero-related games, I played like a lot of the mobile games. There's like Marvel Snap, which I actually do really like so far. But yeah, if you all have any suggestions as far as which superhero-related games I should try, that would be really appreciated. Like I said, the main three I'm thinking right now, because we mainly played Fortnite because I have experience with the game, and two, there was that Superman skin that I really wanted, since that's the Superman that I really like. So that's why I was super happy we got to do that series, even though it had kind of mixed results on the channel. Didn't perform as well as some of like our Mario Kart stuff. But yeah, I've mentioned it before. The plan on this channel was just, I'm going to play video games that I'm interested in, and just kind of like collectible stuff I'm interested in, and it's just going to be, because I don't want to be caught in one niche. I think I've mentioned that. I don't want to just be stuck on this channel just like having to play Mario games just because. I kind of just want to play the games I want to play, and just hope you all enjoy it as well. But yeah, I guess now we'll move on to the next thing I picked up, which is, okay, and then on August the 10th, I ordered these Fantastic Four Bitty Pops of the the Bitty Pops for the Fantastic Four, which were a con exclusive. Yeah, was really happy with these. I thought this was one of the coolest Bitty Pop sets I've seen. I mean, as far as like a set of four that you could do, the Fantastic Four, that you couldn't have made a better fitting set for the Bitty Pops. And I will say one thing, the normal con version, like the one that you can just order, this one stayed up on the Funko shop for a few days, and I was honestly kind of just waiting, because it seems like Funko has a sale every so many days, and I was like, well, these haven't sold out yet, so I'll just wait till whenever the next big sale thing happens. And I think literally the day before I looked, and these were still in stock on the 9th on the Funko website, but with the normal convention sticker. And if you don't know how that works, there's a convention sticker that I think you can only get if you go to the actual convention or buy online from like resellers. And then there's the like shared exclusive one, which you can normally buy from like either the Funko shop or stores like GameStop. And normally the Funko shop gets all of them, as well as they'll sometimes give it to stores like GameStop. But yeah, so they had it, and it stayed on the Funko shop for a while. So I was like, yeah, I'll just wait till something happens, because they normally do a big sale or something every so often, and I'll just get some other stuff, because I didn't want to pay like the $7 for shipping. And then literally the day that I ordered these, I was actually like, you know what, I'll just buy this and another pop that I've been wanting, and I'll just pay the shipping. And it was sold out that day. And I was like, are you kidding me? Literally the one day that I was finally decided I was going to buy it, it was sold out. So then I went on online on like eBay and stuff. I was like, how much am I going to have to pay for resale if I really want this? And then I saw literally, so the actual convention sticker, which is the one you all are seeing on screen, was almost the exact same price selling as the other one. So I was like, oh my gosh, well, if if I'm gonna have to pay more anyways, I might as well, because I think I literally paid a few more dollars just because I got this sticker. So I was like, if I'm already not gonna be able to get it from the Funko shop, and I'm gonna have to pay more anyways, I might as well get the better one. And so that's what I did. So I paid, I think, between shipping and everything, I paid almost 30, and because I did make an offer because they had, I think, listed at 25 and it was like $7 shipping, but after taxes and everything, I paid almost what it was marketed at. Well, less than what it was marketed at, but still not too far off. But yeah, I made an offer and they accepted, and yeah, so I'm going to be getting the actual convention sticker. And so yeah, because I would have paid $15 ish plus 7 shipping, I think, from the Funko shop, and I paid like $20 plus about that in shipping. So yeah, I paid like $5 more pretty much for the convention sticker and waited. So yeah, I'll be getting these soon. Really excited about this. And I will say I love that convention sticker color. Purple and gold purple and yellow is two of my favorite color combos, being a LSU fan. But yeah, love this Fantastic Four set. I think it's awesome. Like I said, of all like the 4 packs you could do, this is definitely, I think, one of the most fitting. And yeah, I love the lineup that they did. Having Sue where she is beside her brother and her husband. Honestly, the only thing I would have personally changed is maybe put the Thing on the other side of Mr. Fantastic, and then had it like the Thing, Mr. Fantastic, Sue, and then the Human Torch. But I'm not too upset with the order. Like, literally, this would probably be my second option. But yeah, that's the literally only thing I thought that maybe I would change on this. But love this set. I thought it was so cool. And yeah, after watching the movie, I did want to get something. And I honestly like the idea of getting this better than any individual pop. Because I liked all 4 of the characters in this movie, but like, there wasn't like one specific one I was super drawn to buying like an individual pop of. Probably my favorite character, though, was the Human Torch. So if I was to buy a single pop, it would probably have been him. But yeah. Or Silver Surfer, honestly. I really liked her in the movie as well. But yeah. Now we'll move on to the next thing I picked up. Okay, before we show off these 3 things that I picked up on August the 13th, I'm going to talk about the thing that I picked up on today. So yeah, like I said, so I picked up so this is kind of going back to the thing I was saying earlier. The reason why I was kind of waiting on buying the Fantastic Four Bitty Pops was I was expecting a sale would probably happen at any point on the Funko site. And on August the 15th, so about 5 days after I was expecting a big sale, but the day that the 1 pack sold out, Funko had like a Funko Fans big sale that some items were all the way up to 70% off. And sure enough, just a couple days after that happened, but I honestly probably would have been more upset if the pop was still available and I bought it the 10th and then the sale happened and it was still available than what did happen. But yeah, so the sale ended up happening and I bought a bunch of stuff. Not gonna lie, I spent about $80, which was a lot. Half of it was anime stuff, and then the other half was superhero stuff. One is a repeat item though, because one I got because I wanted to have one in my dorm, and I probably should have just bought one, to be honest, but I liked the pop a lot, and I was like, well, I'll just have one at my collection at the house, and then, I can just have one at my dorm, and in case something happens, I'll have a second one, whatever. But yeah, so I ordered 2 of that same pop. But yeah, I ordered those on the 15th, which was today, and then, like I said, the pop that I ordered that was also from the Funko shop, but I had to get from eBay, I got the 10th. But yeah, now everything else that you all are seeing on the table, this is the last things we're actually going to show off in this video, because I'm going to kind of keep it a little bit of a surprise, the stuff that we ordered, until the next video. Yeah, we picked up all 3 of these on the 13th, I believe. Yeah, I believe the 13th. Yeah, the 13th. One of these we got at 1 p.m. One of these we got at 11:50 a.m., 11:57 a.m. And then the last one I picked up at 2:13 p.m. Yeah, this was the day that we moved some of my stuff into my dorm and my sister's dorm, so separate dorms, yeah. But we both moved in at the same day, and we were moving stuff in, and then just went on to these stores. And this is that same mall area that I talked about earlier that I picked up Superman, but this was the 13th, and I think I picked that stuff up, the Superman pop and the Spider-Man Bitty Pops, the 28th. But yeah, so let's just get into it. So there was a few things I was wanting to get, and I actually was able to get all 3. Huge success, because all 3 of these I really wanted. So we'll go in order. So The first thing I got was at Target, so that was the one that we picked up at 11:57 a.m. And this was a really cool one. So yeah, what happened was that, like I mentioned, when I got the Superman pop, I went in Target that day, and they had a ton of cool pops. They had like an exclusive Batman, an exclusive Spider-Man, a bunch of other cool ones on the 13th, so a couple days ago. But there was one pop that I was really hoping to see there because the day that I picked up that Superman pop, they had this pop in that Target. But at that day, I didn't want to buy it because this was a $20 single pop. But I decided I really wanted it and was hoping they still had it in the store because it was sold out online. And I realized just after not getting it, I was like, oh, I really regret not buying it. And I told myself, if I go back in there and they still have it, I'm going to buy it. And they luckily still had it about 2 weeks later. And here it is. Dun dun dun. Spider Boy. Yeah. Just gonna be honest. Spider Boy, I don't know much about this character. Obviously, I know he's from the Spider Man verse, and I think he's from more of the comics, I believe. But super cool pop. And this is, if you saw the front of the box, a limited to 9,500 piece. I know Funko used to do some really limited pieces, but I've noticed lately they've been doing a ton of these because they recently did like a Naruto one at Chalice that I did unfortunately miss out on. But yeah, super cool pop. And like I said, I wanted to get this pop, but literally the reason I didn't get it that first day was like $20. And I was like, I seriously didn't buy that pop because it wasn't a $15 pop. That's kind of stupid. I mean, I would wait. I thought about it. I was like, in the future, would I'd rather had $5 or that pop? I mean, I know it's really $20, but the difference, literally pretty much the reason I didn't buy it that day was because it was a $20 pop instead of a $15 pop. And I was like, dang, I really regret not getting that. I really hope they have it the next time. And luckily, well, I had two the last time I was there, and I was like, hopefully they'll still have one. And then whenever we went there, they had two, but one was in like a spot that I almost think there must have been three or more that first day because it was just like in the real back, but not like hidden in the back, if that makes sense. But yeah, so they luckily still had two, so I was actually able to pick one out. This one had a slightly better box. Both had little spots on the eyes. If you can see, there's a little ding on the eye, but it's cool. Limited to 9,500, and as you all can see, that new limited edition sticker. Still thrilled to get this pop. Really happy to own Spider Boy, and it's a character I'm excited to learn more about. Because, like I said, Spider-Man, as I've mentioned in this video, is definitely a character I've been very drawn to. Just really like Spider-Man for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just like one of those things. Like growing up, he was probably the superhero I liked the most, or the movies I liked, because I did really like the Amazing Spider-Man movies. And I think I really liked the ones before the Amazing Spider-Man. I remember owning the DVDs, or at least the DVDs were at my house, but I don't particularly remember watching them a ton. But I vaguely remember them at the same time, if that makes sense. But yeah, really happy that I got this pop. Like I said, missed out on it and went back and was luckily still there. And like I said, whenever I made pretty much a deal with myself, if they have it, I'm going to buy it. And they had a ton of other cool pops. Like I said, they had one that was like half Captain America and half Steve Rogers. They had another one that was like a con exclusive, but it was Captain America and it had like word quotes. But I'll be honest, it kind of looked stupid to me having like the word quotes on the side. So I don't think I'll ever collect those. At least I don't plan on it right now. They had a few cool. Trying to think what else they had that was really cool. Um, they had a really cool Batman and a really cool Spider-Man pop, but they were both like comic versions that I just didn't know much about, so I passed on them. And then they had there was something else that was really cool, but I can't think of what it was. Bunch of cool Spider-Man pops, bunch of cool. If it comes to me, I'll try to remember it. And if I do have a picture of that pop, because I think I did take a screenshot, or actually, I'm not a screen. I took a picture of some of the pops I thought were cool. So if I remember, I'll show it up on screen. I do remember actually now one of the things they had Target exclusive Fantastic Four pops in their like astronaut suits that were pretty cool. But yeah, now we'll move on to the next thing that I picked up the same day, which is technically my first comic book, I think. I'll make sure I'm going in order. Well, where's the time on this? I love how receipts. Okay, 108. Yeah, 108 and two. Yeah, okay. So here we go. This was my first comic book I picked up. I've bought like mangas and stuff, which are kind of similar to comic books, but not exactly the same. But yeah, we'll show it off. The first comic book I purchased, to my knowledge, All-Star Superman. I've heard this one's great. And I guess this isn't technically a comic because it's not like the individual ones, but like I know this is like I believe this is the collection of all 12 volumes of the comic book. And yeah, really excited to read this. Like I said, I've become a big Superman fan based off the movie and just wanted to learn more about the character since I have become such a Superman fan. Because I will say, like, prior to watching the movie, I didn't know much about Superman really. Like, I knew he was this big, strong character, and honestly, I think that made me uninterested in him because I was like, he just seems like this big, strong guy that can do all this cool stuff, but like it almost seems like too good, other than like his one big weakness, kryptonite. But honestly, the movie made me enjoy his character a lot more than I thought I would, if that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't realize just exactly the person of Superman, like the issues of, like being a human alien like thing on this world like full of people, even though he's all strong. But yeah, the like I guess like almost a loneliness, which makes him like almost like more relatable to people. I don't know. I just a really, really cool character that made me like him so much more, and that's why I decided to get stuff like this and wanted to learn more about the character. But yeah, first comic book, and I'd love to know what your all's thoughts are on All-Star Superman. Definitely excited to get into it because, like I said, don't know much. Don't definitely am wanting to learn more about Superman. If you all couldn't tell after watching the movie and buying stuff, so yeah, haven't started on either of the books yet. I don't know. I wanted to get a video out talking about owning the books for some reason before actually doing it. But yeah, really happy now to own this. And now we're going to show off the last thing that I picked up. I know technically, well, if I'm being technical, I got the Funko Pops. I ordered from the Funko shop a couple days after, but the last thing I physically have in hand, which is something I picked up from Hot Topic. I'll be honest, when we went to Hot Topic on the 13th, I told myself I was 100% buying something. Well, planned on it because I had a $5 rewards for some reason. That's one good thing about having a Hot Topic account. After you spend so much money, you get money back. But yeah, I had a $5 rewards, and I was like, as long as they have anything that interests me, I'm probably going to spend it. And they actually had a bunch of these when I went in there, and it is the Spider-Man Bitty Pops. Yeah, this same day that I got these, they had a ton of these at box launch. But yeah, this was the other set I ended up deciding to get first. I got the one that includes regular Spider-Man, Green Goblin, J. Jonah Jameson, and the White Spider-Man, which is the other 1 in 6 odds chase variant. So that means the only ones I need to get left are the Symbiote Suit Spider-Man, which is probably a cooler one, but it's a 1 in 3 chase, so it's easier to get. And then the Green Suit Spider-Man, which is one I just don't know as much about. But yeah. And then, honestly, out of the sets that you can buy, these are the 2 sets that I definitely like the most. Because the Green Goblin's so cool out of the 3 sets. And like I said, so I ended up just getting the 2 harder to get chases just because, I was able to get them in store. And I was like, I can probably order the ones and I'll have a better chance of getting the other ones. But this one was, I will say, in a little worse shape than stuff I normally pick up as far as Funko, but this was the only one they had with this specific chase that I wanted. Because like I said, I wanted to get this set of 3, and I wanted this chase since I had the other set of 3 in the chase. Because, yeah, out of the waves, these were definitely the 2 I wanted because, for one, the Venom ones are just so cool. The Venom, all those characters, the symbiote stuff, I just think it's cool. And then, I mean, it's like the black suit Spider-Man. It's just such a cool suit. I just, like, as far as superhero stuff, I don't think there's many suits, in my opinion, that just look as cool as that black symbiote Spider-Man suit, in my personal opinion. And then just the like, classicer characters, Spider-Man, Green Goblin. I thought that one was cool. And then this one, I honestly thought was maybe the least interesting. It's just a bunch of Spider-Mans, which, I don't know, just seemed kind of boring to me, personally. And then this set, which was the animated movie one, yeah, because it's not Gwenpool. I almost said Gwenpool. Wow. the Spider-Man, the girl version is Gwen Stacy. What I've not watched the animated Spider-Man, but it's that set because it starts Spider-Man 2099, I believe, which I think is super cool based off the clips I saw of him. I did see a bunch of memes of whenever this movie was coming out, and I wanted to watch it almost just because there's his sound effects or whatever, and I just thought he looked so cool. And then I believe that's the Miles Morales Spider-Man, and then that's whatever the girl Spider-Man that's from another. I know it's really cool, how they're the multiverse or whatever with that movie. But yeah, so still need to get the other two, and I need to get the other two chases. Don't know much about that green suit, and the one's the symbiote suit, obviously. But yeah, happy to have another one of these. So I will now have 3 Bitty Pop sets. I'll have 2 of the Spider-Man ones, and then I will also have the Fantastic Four one whenever it comes in. But yeah, I don't know. One thing I will say, I don't know which of these I would have personally wanted to have as the chase one if I knew ahead of time. If I had to pick, I would have definitely got Symbiote Spider-Man in with these 3. And I don't know if that version of Spider-Man fits. I don't know if these were all kind of supposed to go in the orders that's shown or whatever, but definitely would have probably tried to get this one with these 3. But still, happy to have all these, or 2 of these sets, and probably going to try to get the other ones at some point because they do seem to be pretty common. I've seen these at a bunch of stores now, and like I said, since I've got the easier chases to get, I think we'll have the ones that are easier to get. But I will say I've seen this set of 3 at a bunch of stores now. This one they had a ton of at Box Lunch, and you could almost just pick which chase you wanted. But yeah, that's it as far as showing off the stuff. There might be something I throw in at the end of this video after this that I wanted to mention, but yeah. We'll see whatever that was, and if not, that's it for the video. But thank you all for watching. Okay, I'm glad I didn't almost officially end the video because there were 2 things I did want to mention here at the very end. Once again, I want to mention it would be really appreciated if you all would recommend as far as which superhero related games you would recommend I check out, because if this helps any as far as suggestions, I definitely think right now the ones I'm most interested in are as far as characters are probably Superman, Spider-Man. I don't know. I pretty much just recommend me any really fun superhero games. I played obviously superhero related games like Fortnite obviously has had a bunch of superhero collabs, and Marvel Snap I've liked on mobile, but I know that's a card strategy game, which I really do like those types of games though, so I've been loving that game. But yeah, as far as any of the big superhero games, which ones you all would recommend? Injustice, I'm interested in. One of my cousins has played that, and I know he liked it, so maybe I'll get that. And luckily, a lot of these games are cheap now, because I know sometimes old games either go crazy high, and some become super cheap to get, which is a win for me. But yeah, in the Injustice games, I know the Spider-Man PS4 games, and then finally the last one that I was thinking of, Marvel Rivals. But I know that game's free, so it's probably the one I should try, but like I said, I would probably have to play it on my laptop, which I think my laptop might literally explode if I tried to play Marvel Rivals on it, and especially if I tried to record playing it. But yeah, so that's that as far as the games. Would definitely love to know which ones you all would recommend me checking out. If there's any other big Marvel or DC games or superhero in general games you all think I would like, definitely let me know. I'm very interested. And it can be from a variety of consoles. I've got the Wii, the Nintendo Switch, the DS, 2DS, which is pretty much like 3DS games, the Switch, Wii, PlayStation. Yeah, there's a lot of consoles I could play on. So if y'all have any games, older or newer, I would definitely be interested. And then the other thing, oh yeah, we are eventually going to have a big, huge superhero video on the channel talking about, for one, my thoughts on both Fantastic Four and Superman, and just kind of my history with some of the other superhero movies, and why I kind of liked the movies probably, but never really became a fan until just now, really. Well, I've been a fan, but as I've said in this video, I like superhero stuff, but I never really went out of my way and bought and collected stuff because I liked them, but wasn't the biggest fan until recently, which has really gave me that push with Superman. But yeah. Is that it? Oh, and yeah, so I'm going to be working on that video. I plan on actually releasing that video before we played Fortnite on the PS4 and tried to unlock the Superman stuff, but I realized I was taking so long on planning that video that this Fortnite collab stuff was all going to be over, so I was like, okay, we just got to get this first, and then we're eventually going to get that video. And this originally, showing off these collectibles, was originally going to be a part of that video when I'd only bought the Superman Funko. But I realized I picked up too much stuff, and that video might take a much longer to work on because I'm still working on the script, much less the actually recording. And I think I'm going to have that as a more quality edited video. So yeah, want to eventually do a big video like that on this channel. But because that video is going to take a little bit to get it like as good as I want that video to be, it might be a bit, pretty much is what I'm trying to say. But we're probably going to record videos still on the channel. We'll record some gaming. I still haven't played any of the new season of Fortnite, so very interested in that. That might not be something you all want to hear, especially those of you that have preferred the Mario games. But I do want to get back to that on this channel as well. But just, you know, this is almost like just a whatever I'm currently feeling channel almost, which I know is not the best way to go. But yeah. Currently, because for a bit, as y'all could tell, I was really big into the Mario stuff, which I still really like that stuff. But right now, or the Mario Nintendo stuff. But right now, I'm really into superhero stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where this channel's at right now. Kind of just going with what I want to do on this channel because yeah, that's what I'm currently wanting to do. But yeah, would love to know your all's thoughts as far as superhero games, because I would love to play something on the channel like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, stay tuned. We are going to be doing some gameplay of something soon, probably. Either the new season of Fortnite, some superhero game. Maybe we'll get back on the Nintendo stuff or something else. And eventually we are going to have a big superhero video, just depending on whenever I finally feel like the script is good enough. But I do want to get that video out, so maybe I need to just get it done and hope it's good. But yeah, that's it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. This has been just such a random video, but I like doing these videos, just showing off a bunch of random stuff I picked up. And yeah, I think this was fun. So yeah, love to know. Yeah, there's one other thing I would like to. I'd love to know what your all's favorite thing I picked up was. Going to be honest, my favorite thing was probably the common Superman Funko Pop. Just love that movie so much, so to own that, it was just a fun get. But yeah, that's really my favorite thing I picked up, but I loved everything we picked up. So yeah, would love to know what your favorite thing I got was. Would love to know which of the two movies you preferred. And would love to know as far as which of the superhero video games you all would recommend. But yeah, that's it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I am out.